Good evening. Recording notice here. As required by the open meeting law, we are informing you that the district will be videotaping this public meeting. In addition, if anyone else intends to either video or audio tape this meeting, they are required to inform the chair. At this time, we're going into reorganization of the committee, and we will take nominations for the chair.
I nominate Judy.
Okay,
Second.
we got Judy Lindell with a second here. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we have a slate of vote here for Judy Lindell. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those nays? Okay, Judy, it's yours.
You want me to move?
No, you can say
I
that.
can stay there? Good. I got front row seat for the... Sorry, let me just get... It's in the back of which one? Okay, thank you very much. The next is a nomination for vice chair.
Nominate Dave Thelman.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any others? All in favor for Dave Tillman, vice chair?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Great. You want to do the introduction for the new
We're
board
going to go
members?
into citizen speak this time, if you don't mind.
Nope, not at all.
Judy. And I believe Chris would like to say a few words here. He is here tonight. Chris?
I have come off the committee. Congratulations
Thank
to the new chair and the outgoing chair. It was a privilege to share with all of you. I see some new faces as well. I was appointed by the town of Orleans, I think close to 5 years ago, if the timing works, to fill out a term because the town of Orleans was concerned about financial transparency. In the ensuing years, I was just one voice among many of you, and there was a lot accomplished by this group. Our new superintendent was one of the outcomes of that collective effort, and I was honored to serve with all of you. I'm proud of the system that you represent. I'm excited about the 21st century students that you're working hard to educate and provide funding and leadership to help them succeed in the world. And we just came from a ceremony that celebrated the work of teachers and administrators that I think that's the result of your hard work, is helping to fund a leadership team and create the opportunity for students to succeed in our school system and compete around the globe. So it was a pleasure and an honor working with you, and I hope to see all of you in the community in the weeks and months and years to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you. If there's no other citizens, we need to just go back to reorganization for Union 54. And could I have a nomination for chair of Union 54?
Nominate Gail Breer.
A second? Anyone else? All in favor of Gail Briere, Union 54 chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstained.
Vice chair?
You want to do vice chair?
Yeah, I want a vice chair. I need a vice.
Could I have a nomination for vice chair of Union 54, please? I nominate Dave Tellman for vice chair of Union 54.
Second.
Yeah.
Nominate second and David, Mr. Thelman.
and he can do that. Right? The regional can nominate Union 54 vice chair.
I didn't nominate, I seconded.
Second. So we need a, yes? Okay, great. Want to make sure it's legal. All in favor of Dave Tellman, vice chair, Union 54, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Nice work, Dave. 2 jobs, 1 night. Next, we have Dr. Coretti, who will share the results from the survey taken by the middle school students. Dr. Coretti, take it away.
Thank you. Over a year ago, Superintendent Conrad asked if we could develop a substance abuse task force, which we did. And we spent our first year, we weren't really sure which way we were going to go, but we worked as a team, and we came up with some ideas. And one of the ideas was, actually a few ideas, but one of them was to do a survey during this school year. And we did. We spent months in the fall working on the questions, wordsmithing, making sure the kids would understand, making sure that we did it through SurveyMonkey, and we made sure on every page, we said something like, if you need to talk to a counselor, don't forget, counselors are available. I mean, the group was so nurturing and so interested in getting good information, but not triggering kids to get upset. So it was a balance. We worked off the 2015 Youth Risk Behavior Survey of Massachusetts. We could have easily just taken that survey, given the survey, sent it out, got everything all calculated and everything analyzed, and then send it back. But our team didn't look at it that way. Every question, some questions we threw out, some questions we put in. So I was really proud of the work that this committee did. So thank you, Jessica, Tracy, Martha, who am I forgetting? From the school committee, you guys, thank you so much. And to the first group, Marie, instrumental. So, you know, that task force did a lot of good things for our school system. So I was very proud of that. And this is one of the things that came out of it. Well, it'd be helpful if I turned it on. One of the things I mentioned that this was based, we compared our results to the 2015 results of Massachusetts, even though our results is 2017. So the way they meaning the state, did the survey, they were able to provide information in ranges, whereas we weren't, because we didn't have the statistical sophistication because we did this through SurveyMonkey. So I want to go over some key points that I highlighted in red. We scored, you know, if you want to compare us to the state, we scored below in many areas. But we didn't feel as though that was good enough to report. We wanted to report actually on how many kids were affected. So, ever smoking, 5 students at the 8th grade level. But look at, and that's referring to tobacco, but look at how ever using e-cigarettes or vape, that has increased. And my guess is that that will probably increase compared to regular tobacco smoking. Ever drinking alcohol? Now that was a very broad question, but we did say, you know, we just counted like for religious celebration or things like that. That meant ever drinking alcohol. we went from 6 students to 6 students in 6th grade to 36 students in 8th grade. So they're taking more risks. Past 30 days for alcohol, we did this survey, I believe in April. So 17 kids self-identified. Ever using marijuana? I thought marijuana would be a little higher, but fortunately, it isn't. Ever using prescription drugs, meaning not prescribed to them illegally? And we had very few students. And I'm happy to say no one's doing heroin. But this slide was the most concerning. Slide number 6 on mental health. Again, reported 6th, 7th, and 8th. Injuring oneself but not wanting to die. That could be cutting. Many kids, I don't know if you know that, but there are kids who cut and they hide it on their stomachs, they hide it, but don't want to die. And we have a number of students. Again, the ranges are lower compared to the state, but that doesn't make anyone feel better. Feeling sad or hopeless 2 weeks or more this past year. That was concerning. That's clinical depression for kids. 23 students, 24 students, 38 students in 8th grade. And that's a total of 85 students in our school feeling that way. Ever seriously consider attempting suicide? We had a total of 33 kids that actually had feelings and were in that pain to actually say, yes, they've thought about it. This past year felt extremely anxious or worried to the point where it interfered with their daily activities. 168 kids. It's a lot of kids. Having one parent or other adult to talk to about things that are bothersome. The way I grouped this data, and I didn't have a state comparison for this, but I put, if a student said not sure, I put that into the no category. My guess is kids were probably thinking, well, it depends on what I'm going to talk about. But regardless, 17 kids in 6th grade, 30 kids in 7th grade, and 43 kids in 8th grade. You notice how it got higher and higher, older that they became. So our group said, well, why don't we ask the kids why they're feeling anxious and depressed? And I just recorded the top 5. And academic stress was number 1. And number 2, 6th grade had a lot of number 2s. But number 2, worried about the future. So they're feeling stressed, depressed, anxious, and this is, for some of the kids, this is what's behind it. And I just wanted to say academic stress. When I looked at that, I really didn't take that necessarily as too much homework. There's a lot of reasons for academic stress. It's not just the teacher giving work. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of pressure. There's the MCAS pressure. There's the pressure what college I'm going to get into when I get older. It's a broad issue. Then we asked about the amount of time, activity time that students, how they spend their time. 3 hours or more playing video games or watching videos. And we were we were below actually for 7th graders and 8th graders, but still nonetheless, a good amount of kids. Watching TV, not as much. The category now is in the video game arena. We asked about community service, and we don't have a whole lot of kids doing community service, so that's an area that we think we can help with. We asked about health, eating breakfast, being physically active. I was pleased, actually, with the responses, the numbers we got for kids thinking they have normal weight. I would have thought no one thinks they have normal weight. But we had a good portion of kids who think that. And the portion wasn't as high of the kids who think they're overweight. So that's good. That's about body image. During the school year, have you been bullied at school, going to and from school? And there were kids who said yes. Have you been cyberbullied? There were kids who said yes, 13, 22, 25 kids. Have you bullied another student? And there were kids who did say yes, admitted that. And have you avoided school or school activities due to bullying? Not as high as the kids who are bullied, but yes, there are some kids who are saying that they've avoided school. This is one that's concerning too. Have you been touched by anyone that made you feel uncomfortable? I don't think we said an adult or got into any specifics, just a general statement. And we had 22 kids at grade 6, 18 kids in grade 7, and grade 8, 31 kids. Many of those kids did tell an adult. I didn't put that up, but many of the kids did. Not all, but many. There is a mistake in your slide on 12. It should have read, past 30 days, have you carried a weapon on or off school property? And I think your slide just says on school property. So I just had to make that clarification. And we talked about this, and this could have been, I don't think we've confiscated any weapons this year that I recall, but it could have been like a jackknife or something, not really all that dangerous. And because you see here, during the school year, has someone threatened or injured you with a weapon on school property? And I don't know why we got 2 consistently, but we haven't heard of that. And physical fights, they were reporting 1 time or 2 times. I don't have any reports of any kids having a physical fight at school. Then there was another 2-page survey that we adopted from Barnstable County. And we just want you to report this information. I didn't have any norms to compare it to. So I grouped it in terms of perceptions of parents and friends regarding alcohol use. So in other words, how wrong do your parents feel would be for you to have 1 or 2 drinks of an alcoholic beverage nearly every day? Not wrong to a little bit wrong, 3%. So the parents are doing a good job getting that message out. 96%, 97% of the kids are hearing from their parents that this is not a good idea. But when it comes to friends, it's a bit different. They're reporting 16% of their friends don't think it's really all that wrong. I grouped marijuana and tobacco together. How wrong do your parents feel it would be for you to smoke tobacco? Well, again, parents are doing a great job, wrong to very wrong, 98, 99%. How wrong do your parents feel it would be for you to smoke marijuana? It drops, 93, 81, and 6.18% for the kids thinking, as opposed to tobacco. How wrong do your friends feel it would be? How wrong do your parents feel it would be for you to smoke marijuana? So, with the friends, it was 17.9% compared to the parents, 6.18. So, of course, the kids are more approving of it, I guess, or in their minds, that's what they're thinking. But what's interesting to me is that tobacco's tobacco, you're still smoking. And a lot of times that perception is lost. It's marijuana, but what is marijuana? Well, there's tobacco, you're smoking. But they don't think of it as smoking. the use of prescription drugs. Again, parents are doing a great job. Kids are hearing that parents think it's wrong for them to use someone else's prescription drugs. Not so much with friends. And that's the slide. So, we talked about this with the middle school, and the middle school teachers all have the survey. And then Maxine spoke to the teachers to discuss more in depth about what to do. And I'm just so thrilled to say that the teachers were so into this, and they had ideas like this off the top of their head, things that they want to do. The energy was really, really good. I mean, I expected that anyway from the teachers, but nonetheless, it is there. So we're in the process of doing the high school. We changed some of the questions. Some questions I wish we had put in the middle school survey, like if you wanted to give your name, you could, and we're including that in the high school survey. And we asked some questions about driving, more age appropriate. And then we'll get those results by the end of the school year. And I think we want to start looking at the elementary kids, at least maybe grades 3 through 5, so our team will work on that. And we're also looking at how to, as part of what came out of the Substance Abuse Committee, was, looking at our social emotional programs and trying to have the same language. I remember you talked about that, Marie. So we're looking at that as well for all our students. But I can't tell you how happy I am that we're finally at this place where we're looking at the social emotional issues of kids. For too long, it's been about MCAS, right or wrong, I mean, it just has. But now it's time to look at the kids. And I can't thank the Substance Abuse Committee enough for grabbing onto this and moving forward. Yes.
In terms of the high school survey that you're going to be doing, will it include any sexual activity?
I looked at so many surveys, I don't recall offhand.
Okay.
It may not, but we were really focusing on the
No, I understand
drugs and
that.
alcohol. Yeah.
I'm just
And
looking at
depression,
another
yeah.
component in terms of if you wanted to survey
Yeah.
that piece of activity.
Other questions?
What percentage of the students participated in the survey? The 502, there's more than 502 students in the school.
We had a very high percent. Some kids skipped some questions, but I have all of that breakdown. I didn't report it, but there were 502 kids that did participate in the survey. On that particular day, I don't know if we had 502 kids.
But that's like 90% or something of the student body. So why did the other 10% not choose to take the survey, or was it?
I don't have an answer for that, but I can certainly check on that. But it was the survey, 502 was pretty good, that took it. We also posted the survey for at least 2 weeks on the website, so parents had a chance to see it and to opt out. No one called to opt out. We did the same thing for the high school. We posted it, we gave them directions to call my secretary if they wanted to opt out, and no one did.
Betsy?
Yeah, just curious if you discussed any disaggregated information like boys and girls or demographics? Do you have any of that?
I have that.
Oh,
I just didn't put it up.
Yep.
Yes, I have it broken down by grade in more detail, girls, boys. Truthfully, I didn't ask, what towns you come from, or if you're white, Hispanic. I didn't ask any of those questions.
Jim?
Do you have the ability to link any of the data between the questions? Like, for instance, the one on bullying, how that might relate to or translate into suicidal thoughts or not? Do you have any ability to link there, or are they just separate?
No, I have the ability to really look at that and see like how many sixth graders and were they girls, were they boys, and how many activities did they participate in. I can get pretty close. Yeah. That's why I did it on SurveyMonkey, and that's why I didn't send it out, because I wouldn't be able to manipulate that.
As a follow-up to Jim's question in the bullying, is there any data linked to reporting of bullying to teachers or administrators? Not in
Like-
that survey, but what actual, kids would actually report that activity.
I think kids self-identified more than was reported.
Okay.
Yeah. That's, because I'm not seeing 33 reports coming my way.
Sure.
But when it is reported, it's handled very thoroughly.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Dr. Peretti? Tom? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next on the agenda, we're gonna try and move along, it's late. Next on the agenda is Sue Murray.
First time for a presentation, so bear with me.
Not a problem.
What I would like to show you is the new website that we have up for the food service. It's linked to the website that all parents can take a look at with all the new menus and all the nutritionals. So, and I wanted to do this so you could actually see how a parent would go online and actually see how they would use this. So this is right on the website. You want to come down right into the lunch menus. So this is the new website with, this logo was actually made for us by a student at the high school. So actually we're putting it on, you'll actually see it almost everywhere now. You'll see it on as many places as we can get it so that we can brand ourselves as a program. And what's great about this website is it has everything that you ever want to know about lunch. And then I'll get into the menus, which is really the exciting part about it. It has all kinds of information. I mean, you should spend some time to actually go on here because there's tons of information on here about school lunch and healthy eating. There's also a mobile app for this as well, so you can get the school lunch menus on your phone. So we also sent that out, and you can get on this instructions here. And you can go down the mail applications. This is this year's, but it'll also be updated in July for the new one. But all kinds of information on healthy snacks. I can do a photo gallery, which I will get to start putting photos of stuff that happens in the schools. We're also you can get online for catering. All of this stuff all of these are all links to information. I'm not going to go through it tonight because we'll be here for hours. But and then you can get on for the dietary guidelines for 2014. 2000 to 2020. So there's all kinds of information on here. I'll do the menus last because that's where it gets exciting. Here is the online payment system. This is where parents can get on and learn about the payment center, and there's a manual to teach them how to actually do it. But also, if they decide they want to send money into the school, this is actually a printout that they can put on an envelope and have information with their students and send the money right into school. And then as you go across, there's all kinds of information on nutrition and fitness. So let's move. Anything and everything you want to know about healthy eating and for parents, sports, nutrition. There's also, and once you click onto these, it goes into even more. And there's even lesson plans for teachers if they want to get into. And here to education. For students and parents, fun games, all on nutrition. So for the classroom, if teachers wanted to get on and, have nutrition lessons. Healthy habits starting at home for parents, teachers, for students. It's all kinds of information in here. Then you come over here, and this is, if anybody has any issues, this is where you can contact everybody in the schools. Plus there's all kinds of links in here for the school menus, catering. But this gives you all the information of everybody in every single school if they needed to contact somebody in the cafeteria. All the managers are all here, and they can email them or call them straight there, so there's, so they can contact anyone. And then we have the wellness policy. And this just fills all the requirements for the USDA to have all the information for the wellness policies, and we'll update down at the bottom all the minutes for all the meetings that happen all year, which we will update that information. So that, so that's the website. So you could spend a lot of time. So you should spend some time to, actually go through this and, you can get all the information. So here's where the menus are. So you come over here to the menus. First of all, they're still being sent out paper, but there's a link here now to go green. So 4 days before the beginning of the month, these are all sent out to all the parents that have an email address. So actually on Sunday of this month, this week, the menus will actually be sent out for June, so we can go green. So this is all the information for the pricing. And so this is where we come down to here, was also information on Harvest of the Month. And all the menus for all the schools are on here. So we'll just pick one. This is for the month of May, because I'll have the June ones up tomorrow. But this is where, so here this is just an information thing telling the parents that, that they should always check. That even though it's up here, doesn't mean it's always as accurate, because the menus can change, so that they're responsible to make sure. But most of this stuff is pretty accurate. So this is just a menu, but where it gets exciting is if you put your cursor over any of one of these, this is where all the nutritionals come up.
Oh.
All of the information for every single item that's being served in the school. Now, I haven't quite got all the photos. Eventually, we'll work on that. But all the information you can get: carb counts, calorie counts, sodium, anything you want that's being served. So this is just like the main menu here. Over here is all the secondary items that they have a second choice, and that comes up here if you click up here. Just so, and the same things happen here. So you can get actually everything that's being served in the school lunch.
Doesn't have ingredients.
That's cool.
No, you'd have to call us about the ingredients on this. I think it'd be way too much information for ingredients and things like that, but it gives you, but see what's here, interesting here is it has all the allergies. So it has your milk, soy, wheat, things like that. So it gives you all the allergies. So let's go back. We go here. What's great about here is this, so everybody asks all about allergies, right? So up here has all the allergies. So what's great about this is if a parent went on and they had a dairy allergy, you could click on here and it crosses out everything that has dairy in it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So, or if there's, shellfish is not really a problem, so.
What, you don't serve shrimp every Friday?
Well, we have fish, but not a lot of shellfish. So if they didn't have dairy, or let's say eggs, so everything with eggs. So all the major allergens are up there. So a parent can go in and click on it, and it will cross out anything that has, so that's kind of like, we don't have all the ingredients, but
That's,
pretty close.
yeah.
So I put in all the information here, so that will, helps with all the parents that have, so even wheat obviously crosses out. So this is a great tool for parents that have allergy for students. They can also print it, and it comes up with all the information here. So they can get it in multiple forms, and it tells you all the allergy, and some of the stuff that's vegetarian, and I even put some of them are pork, just in case there's a religious reasons for pork. Let's see.
That's great.
Let me see. Okay. So, what's great here is it's even the high school and middle school with all, even with all the items that's being served there as well. It's just that this is the main lunch line, and then over here it gives you all the grab and goes, all the side items that we serve, the lunch prices. Come down, it just shows the mobile, and we try to put the logo everywhere. The other thing is here for parents that want carb counts, you can also get this, it also gives you all the carb counts for everything. And you get a, one here.
This is a pre-existing, like,
This is, actually, we bought the website, and so I just put all the information for our particular school, and then they put the logo on there and created it so it looked, similar to our website already, so it had all the black and the gold, and, which is kind of cool. And you can print this in many forms. You can do it, you don't have to necessarily get all the graphics on there, but you can, so for parents that don't have a color printer, save some extra, so you can get it in all different kinds of forms so they can print it out themselves. And also here, there's all these languages that'll translate into. So you can translate it into any of the languages. So all these menus can be translated into those languages, all they have to do is click on it.
Is there a way to isolate the vegetarian?
They do I have, yep. Here, you see the logo, whoops. See the, well, the Pizza Crunch is here. See that logo right there? It says vegetarian. So those show up there.
I see. It shows up right, oh, yeah.
Right, it shows up on the side right here, yep. So there's all kinds of. Problem is I kind of limit, you can do a lot of different logos on there, but if you have too much information, it is overwhelming. So what I did was I kept with vegetarian and pork for right now, and then we can add some of the other ones.
Vegetarian.
Yeah, there's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the vegetarians you will see on the side items, and a lot of the high school for the grill and grab and goes. But we always have meatless Mondays, so that's why we're there. So I think this is a huge upgrade
great.
for the menus. So, you could spend a lot of time, learning all kinds about nutrition and about school lunch and what parents need to see. But I think the menu is the best feature in the whole thing for parents with allergies that want to know the carb, nurses that want the carb counts, and all that information. Plus all the graphics pretty too. And you can, we can change it around, so like I have this stuff for Memorial Day, the one June will have all the summer fun things on it. So, we keep it fresh and new, and all the information, then hopefully we'll get out so that they can do it on mobile as well. So, there's the new menu, so.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So cool.
That's great.
You're welcome. Does
Anyone
everybody
have any questions?
any
for Sue?
questions?
All set. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
you're welcome.
Next on the agenda is the superintendent's evaluation. We'll start with Union 54 and Gail Greer.
All right, thank you. Union 54 consists of 8 members, 5 from each of the towns, and all 20 evaluations were returned. The evaluation consists of 4 standards, 3 goals, and the overall goal. So within each standard, I'm going to give you the overall rating. I'm also going to give you several positive comments, and then if there were any thoughts for consideration, I'll include that in the report. So with the standards, the ratings are exemplary, proficient, needs improvement, and unsatisfactory. So positive comments for standard 1, which was curriculum instruction and assessment. Strengths: sound judgment, identifying priorities, confidence in role, commitment to the job, and district. A second comment: reviewing homework practice such as relevance and time spent is a worthy endeavor, a goal identified as a need by various stakeholders. Tom's regular meeting with teachers and visits to classrooms is a critical way to gain insight into the instructional practices of educators and the learning styles and needs of students. A thought for consideration: consider providing more evidence to demonstrate improvement with the homework goal. Standard 2 was management and operations. There were 12 exemplary and 8 proficient. Did I give you the overall rating for the first one? All right, I'm sorry. 5 exemplary and 15 proficient for Standard 1. Standard 2, 12 exemplary and 8 proficient, and that's management and operations. Positive comments. Tom's approach to budget development is thoughtful, comprehensive, and informative. We have really been paying attention to management and operations as a system, and Tom has led the charge in a manner that is inclusive and strategic. A third comment, I was particularly impressed with Tom's leadership during union negotiations and the outcome of changing the workday option in the teacher's contract. Tom's management style has opened the door to a more inclusive, honest, and sincere environment. I do want to say that I have not included all the comments. With 20 people, we would be here all night. I tried to pick 3 or 4 positive comments, and if there were any thoughts for consideration, I tried to include those as well. Standard 3, family and community engagement. 12 exemplary, 8 proficient. I have 4 comments, positive comments here. Tom has shown a very transparent attitude and does not hesitate to call for a forum, meeting, or whatever is needed to get the information out to the public, parents, and staff. He makes sure that all parties understand the topic. A second comment. Community Week was an innovative and successful initiative. Hopefully, Nauset will build on this success. A third comment. The calendar is excellent evidence. Comment number 4. Tom's messaging to various stakeholders in the community is planned, thoughtful, and connected to a larger vision. Overall, he is creating a culture of trust and progress. Standard 4 is professional culture standard. 11 exemplary, 9 proficient. 4 positive comments that I'm going to note. Communications indicator received 3 exemplary checks from 1 committee member. Second comment, Tom exemplifies the continuous learning indicator. His keen professional curiosity, energy, resourcefulness, openness, and striving for more effective ways of learning models professional, lifelong learning. Tom's enthusiasm builds trust in him as a dynamic leader. A third comment, Mr. Conrad's enthusiasm is nothing less than contagious. The final one in this category, the superintendent encourages school principals to promote student learning by looking at innovative schools that promote Spanish immersion and the IB program. He participates in numerous professional meetings and conferences. A thought for consideration would be to provide a written report for school committee administrative reports to be able to review beforehand. When we looked at goals, the ratings were exceeded, met, significant progress, some progress, and did not meet. And in this particular, in a couple of cases, some people indicated met and exceeded. And being a mathematical person, you got 0.5 for exceeded and 0.5 for met. So when I give you a 0.5 indicator, that's the reason why. So the first goal was the professional practice goal. Exceeded 5.5, met 5, significant progress 8.5, and some progress 1. Comments? Mr. Conrad is reviewing present system to discover opportunities for improvement. He is involving the community by engaging the Nauset newcomers, which may be a means to help sustain the Nauset system. A second comment, consistent protocols for identifying and servicing our students shows a commitment to strengthening professional practice and collaboration. A thought for consideration, once again, providing more evidence about the effectiveness and success with current academic assistance. Goal number 2, student learning goal. Exceeded 5.5, met 4, significant progress 10.5. Positive comments. Tom has actively visited other districts utilizing programs that he would like to bring to Nauset. For example, STEM, STEAM as perhaps magnet schools. A second comment, Mr. Conrad understands the importance of collaboration when developing new initiatives, as evidenced in his actions to create building teams while providing opportunities for choice and input. A thought for consideration, one member thought perhaps Mr. Conrad needed to focus on one or two of the action steps. Maybe he was spreading himself too thin. Goal number 3, this goal was related to the district's strategic plan. Exceeded 7.5, met 5.5, significant progress 6, some progress 1. Comments, Mr. Conrad is taking communication seriously. However, what strikes me as most exemplary is the number of face-to-face interactions that he has with all stakeholders. A second comment, I think the time that Tom has taken to investigate the implications of new communication strategies is wise. A thought for consideration, one member expressed some concern about the Big Brother-esque monitoring and searching of social media sites, and this member would like to see some documentation defining purpose, practices, and procedures for this. Overall rating, 9 exemplary, 11 proficient. Comments, Mr. Conrad has streamlined the budget process, improved the school culture, and brought forth innovative educational ideas. Nauset is looking at an exciting future. A second comment, Mr. Conrad's approach during negotiations was purposeful, friendly, and results-oriented. The union representatives were treated with a spirit of respect and cooperation. Third comment, Mr. Conrad seems to be eager to learn, to be better, to open himself to new ideas and new approaches to teaching and leading. This is inspiring. Another comment, Tom understands the path of our students' future, yet he does not dictate the approach. All are engaged in this process of change. The change is not abrupt, and it may be slow, but will be the product of listening and thought. A truly collaborative environment is developing in the Nauset district under Tom's leadership. Another comment, I see cohesiveness and continuity with both administration and school-based staff. A final positive comment, Superintendent Conrad's presence is important, noticed, and appreciated. Some thoughts for consideration. There was a concern about Tom not burning himself out by trying to maintain the pace he has set for himself. The district is headed back in the right direction, and there is hope he can continue his hard work and dedication to the students. Another thought for consideration, one member requested more in-depth conversation, discussion, explanation, most likely in a separate meeting in which the superintendent/assistant superintendent explain the goals, what is being done, and what their findings are with the committee. And a final thought for consideration, if there was a concern, it would be that Tom be mindful of regional decisions impacting our elementary schools. It was seen when the time change was implemented, and this member worries again now that we are looking at developing focused programs at each elementary, looking at extended days, years, and even the possible consolidation at the region level. I would say overall, you know, kudos.
Well done.
Kudos.
Thank you, Gail. And John from the region will report on their findings.
Gail's putting me to shame here.
No
We
worries.
gotta switch this.
I wanted you to go first.
Yeah, you did. I should have listened. Of the 8 current members of the committee, I received 6 evaluations on standard 1 curriculum instruction assessment. We had, I just took the totals, 5 exemplary, 1 proficient. Standard 2 management and operations, 6 exemplary. Standard 3 family community engagement, 6 exemplary. Standard 4 professional culture standard, 6 exemplary. I did highlight some comments from some of the standards. Standard number 1, I see staff, parents, town, committee members, and even the kids themselves being able to access information with ease and feel very much part of the Nauset family. Standard 2, fiscal leadership, absolutely extraordinary in development, execution, and monitoring, met town's objectives with 1 round of reduction required in a very timely fashion, pursues cost savings opportunities, transportation, renewable energy, exemplary, plus, plus, plus. Another one from Standard 2, school committee receives the budget from his administration that is consistent with the goals, mission, and vision of the school and within the constraints of the community's expectations. He has undergone a recent successful fiscal audit. I admire Tom's continual interest in determining renewable energy resources that could be appropriately implemented to bring our schools up to date with the environmental needs and concerns while developing cost-effective alternatives to prior technology. Standard 3, he constantly seeks out community organizations to communicate his goals and gain support for school-wide programs. Standard 4, I appreciate Mr. Conrad's striving for ever better practices by working with and appreciating the people who work with him. Of the 3 goals, professional practice, we had 3 met, 2 exceeded. 3 met, 3 exceeded. Student learning, 1 met, 5 exceeded. Strategic plan, 2 met, 3 exceeded, and this gentleman, someone left it blank. So I have 1 blank. Overall rating, 6 exemplary. So you hit it out of the park on that one. And just a couple comments on the overall rating. Superintendent Conrad has brought an energy and attitude to his job that has ensured the high quality of his job performance. The region has improved under his leadership. Tom has created an environment that is conducive to teaching and learning, an environment that changes and evolves with the challenges brought by the demands of our diverse region. Mr. Conrad has done a tremendous job in pulling the district together. His collaboration with his administrators and his team has yielded positive results for our kids. Looking forward to working for him for the next 3 years. It is enjoyable to be part of the Nauset team. Again, kudos, Mr. Conrad.
And thank you to Gail and John for culling all that information and doing a report for us. Thank you very much.
So
Go ahead.
I just want to invite any member who doesn't feel that their opinions were expressed through this process to share what they want right now, and also to invite Mr. Conrad to perhaps comment. So let's start with the committee members.
I'm all set.
Okay, good to know. We tried to be inclusive.
I would just comment that thank you for taking the time to have that meeting. I found it really useful to sit around and sort of discuss it before we wrote it. It just helped to kind of hear other people's perspectives, so you could kind of get a sense of what you were going to write. So I was appreciative for that extra meeting
Yeah, it was
to
good.
be able to do that.
So at Union 54 gets together prior to, and we go over the evaluation process and just talk about some of the evidence, and that's what she's referring to, what Betsy's referring to. Any other comments from committee members? Mr. Conrad?
Well, I was at a most recent meeting with 45 other superintendents, and one of the topics was sitting down to hear your evaluation on live TV. And everybody agreed it was kind of awkward. But one of the things that I often look for is are we thinking alike in terms of where are some of the initiatives, some of the work that has to be done. And I think I commented in our meeting with John and Gail that I thought the feedback and the suggestions are right on. And I think that's so important. And that's really, I'm really excited because I think after 2 years of this, and I'm anxious to bring some things forward for a much deeper discussion and understanding going into the third year. And I thank you. This is a tedious process, whether you're in buildings or you're on school committees, and the time and effort that you put into this is tremendously helpful. I get, whether you know or not, I get some evaluation information back from the administrative team. I do two surveys through the year with them. And this is my third. And it's very, very helpful because together we can do great things. And it is clearly a variety of members on this team, from the school committees to the administrative teams, the central office people that are just phenomenal. It's a great place to be, and great workers, and great energy. And what's this all about? It's all about improving student learning. Pure and simple. We should have tattoos on our arms. Improving student learning. And I'm a pretty simple guy. I want for the children of this district no more or no less than what I want for my own son and daughter. And we should never forget that. And we shouldn't forget that it is a changing world. And we have a lot of people around this table who are out and about seeing so many things to share. And because it is the future for our children. And if not us, who? Who is going to make these decisions, these changes, these ideas come alive? So I want to thank you. It's I can't believe it's been 2 years. It seems like a flash. And people often ask me, what do you think about your job? And I tell them it was a great decision on my part to take this. I'm loving what I'm doing. And I think we're going to do some great things here in the next couple of years. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. We are now going into executive session. I will read the following. School committee will go into executive session to discuss contract negotiations with union and non-union personnel, in which having a discussion in open session may have a detrimental effect on its bargaining position. The committee will come out of executive session and disclose the agreements in open session. We'll need to do a roll call vote.
I move that we go into executive session.
Second,
Second.
and Ann, how do you want to do this? East, go ahead, Marilyn.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And at this time, we'll go into executive session to come back after. Do I recuse now?
Yes.
So I will recuse from the teachers' portion of this discussion and leave it to my vice chair. The towns of Brewster, Wellfleet, and Eastham with contracts in front of us tonight, and Region and Orleans will take it up at their next meeting,
Quorum.
when they have a monthly meeting, June meeting when they have quorums. Okay? May I have a motion for approval of minutes for March 23rd?
Point of order.
Yes?
I believe
Yes, sir.
that you have to take a vote in public to ratify actions taken.
All
in
actions
executive
taken in
session.
executive session.
Yes.
Okay, do we need to do a roll call
By,
vote?
by,
Do it by Union
By-
54?
No, by
No,
town.
by
by
town.
town.
Okay. And do we make a motion to ratify?
Each town.
You go, you do it. Yeah, motion?
I'll make a motion to ratify the educational assistance contract as discussed. executive session.
Can we do?
Can we do all three?
Can we do all three together?
Yeah.
We can do all three together.
Vote to ratify all contracts discussed with the teachers, educational assistants, and secretaries for the year, for the next 3 years, as discussed in executive session.
Second. All in favor, any stand?
Aye.
Aye. Wellfleet?
I make a motion to approve all the contracts we discussed for 2017 through 2020.
Second.
All in favor, Wellfleet?
Aye.
Brewster?
Move to ratify all the contracts discussed in executive session for 2017 to 2021.
20.
20, sorry.
Second. 10, whatever.
All in favor, Brewster?
Aye.
And Region and Orleans? Very good.
Now we have to
You
do.
need to do the 54 for the superintendent.
Okay, same thing, by town and?
No, by
No.
Union 54, and the region will
Okay.
take it.
I make the motion that we approve the superintendent's contract extension and salary negotiated for next year.
Second?
Second.
There you go. No, I was sort of asking for a second. But you did it. It's past my bedtime. Union 54, vote, all in favor? Aye. And Region?
No problem.
No quorum. Oh, okay. Now can I do approval of minutes? I guess.
Second.
All in favor of the minutes being approved for March 23, 2017, say aye. Aye. You want to stop laughing at me?
Sorry, I was just thinking that the contract stuff in executive session is the toughest thing we do in committee, so you're doing a great job.
And may I have the next motion? Go ahead, Jessica. Second. All in favor? Aye. Perfect. Next time, don't leave me out in the hallway. You made it.
I wasn't hungry, but now I'm hungry. Oh,
And we did both minutes.